I'm going to remove all of the insides, including the glass. Next, I'm going to paint the frames. While the frames are drying, I want to paint some wood pieces that I picked up. These are a little thin, so I'm going to use some wood glue to adhere two together. To make the slats in my lantern, I'm going to use these little wood stir sticks. With a coat of paint on all the pieces, it's time to start putting them together. Now that the frames are together, I want to start adding the stir sticks. I want to add a small rope handle. I have a little piece of copper pipe that's going to work perfectly with some thick rope to do that.
Grab 2 of these mirrors and then pick up some wooden dowel rods. Spray paint the dowel rods black and let them dry completely. Squeeze a small dollop of clear adhesive glue to the bottom of one of the dowel rods and then press it into one of the corners of the mirror octagon. Take your second mirror octagon and flip it upside down. Squeeze a small dollop of clear adhesive onto each corner of the mirror bottom. Flip it back over and carefully align the corners of the mirror with the tops of the wooden dowel rods. Let's decorate this mirrored lantern for fall. You can decorate this mirror lantern for Christmas too.
Pick up a couple solar lights from Dollar Tree, then grab an empty pickle jar. I'm going to start by washing this pickle jar really well. I'm just going to soak it in hot water with soap. It's going to get all the sticky label off the outside and it's going to get that pickle smell out of the inside. Then I'm going to take the dry jar and I'm going to add pieces of twine to it. To finish off the outside, I'm wrapping a thick piece of rope around the top of the jar. Now I'm going to fill it with some glass beads. Just pull off the stick that goes in the ground and place the light right in the jar.
Start by mixing together 1 cup of Epsom salt plus 1 tablespoon of clear or white glitter. Apply a thin layer of Mod Podge onto each glass vase and then sprinkle some of the fake snow on top. Continue this process around each vase. Showcase this adorable display with some battery-operated tea light candles and some string lights.
Grab an assortment of frames. Remove any packaging, paper, or cardboard from the frames, as well as the frame glass. Using a strong adhesive glue, take an 8x10 frame and glue one short side of the frame to the long side of a 4x6 frame. Glue the remaining sides of the frames together. Use some painter's tape to hold the glued sides together until dry. Next, take 2 of the 5x7 frames and glue to the top of the box base, angled together on top of the frame box. Once the first half of the roof is glued and secured, glue the other 2 5x7 frames to the base. Once dry, I gave my greenhouse a couple of light coats of hunter green spray paint. Take some faux Christmas greenery stems, trim them to the height of the roof, and hot glue the stems to the base of the roof line. Add some holly berries and leaves at the roof line to cover the bottoms of the stems. Take a lightweight ornament and glue it by its string to the front opening of the greenhouse.
Quick trip to my local Dollarama. Separate the layers, cut the napkin so that you have enough to cover the body of the jar. Now I'm using some clear glue mixed with a tiny amount of water, paint it onto the side of the glass jar. Then lay down the paper nap and then using a piece of scrunched up plastic wrap, use that to pat down the napkin and eliminate any wrinkles that way. Draw around the lid because that will be the right size and cut out the piece of napkin, stick it to the bottom of the jar in the same way. Using the same process, cut out a circle for the top and a little strip for the edge and stick it in place. When it was dry, I decided to give it 2 coats of a gloss varnish. I have taken a battery operated puck light and stuck it into the lid of the glass jar.
Stretch out a balloon and then blow it up. Now take a torn piece of tissue paper and get it wet with some water. Gently lay it against the side of the blown up balloon and smooth it out. Continue layering pieces until the entire surface is covered. Then let it sit until it is completely dry. In a small bowl, mix together some regular glue and water, about half and half, to create a thin glue mixture. Generously brush the glue mixture onto the outside of the tissue paper covered balloon. Then press an additional layer of tissue paper pieces to the outside of the balloon. Pick up some gold and silver paper feathers at your local dollar store. Apply some glue glue mixture to the back of each feather and press it onto the outside of the balloon. Then place more layers of tissue paper pieces on top of the feathers and adhere with more of the glue mixture. Now the most fun part. Once the glue is completely dry, gently pop the balloon with a pin. Turn on a battery-operated faux pillar candle and place it inside your tissue paper lantern.
I grabbed some mirror paint and thrifted light fixtures. I added a splash of vinegar to a spray bottle with water and lightly sprayed the inside of the glass light fixture. Next, I sprayed the mirror paint on the inside and drained the extra water and paint out. I sprayed the light fixture base black. Once dry, I painted antique gold rub and buff on it, leaving some of the black showing. Once dry, I added battery fairy lights.
I'm going to stick these grasses and weeds to this glass. Cut off these extra bits on the bottom. Now I'm going to stick the tissue paper to the vase. I'm going to use a glue stick and then just rolling it, pulling it tight on this side, some more glue down and gently stick that in place too. I'm going to go around and just trim .
I sourced a couple things from the Dollar Tree, so I'm going to be using the Rust-Oleum milk paint. We are going to add our hot glue, put it into the corner. So we're going to do this in all 4 corners. So once that kind of sets, we're going to flip it over and do the other side. We are going to be taking our smaller pieces and we're going to be creating an X shape. And then I'm going to come in with my hot glue gun. We are going to glue these together, painting it the same color as we did the other pieces. We are going to hot glue. All right, so we're going to let this dry here for a moment. And that's where this comes into place. Just need this piece. We're going to clip off this piece. We're going to paint it. So now that this is all glued and dried, I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and I'm going to put it in the hole. Now that we've attached the tumbling tower pieces, so I can go over the edges.
I came across these 2 disheveled lampshades and I ripped off all the outside parts of the lampshade, the fabric and the trim. I took the 2 lampshades and I stacked them on top of each other, and then to secure them I used some just little white zip ties, and then I used some scissors and just cut off the excess of the zip tie. Next I took this rub and buff in the shade European Gold and using just a paint cloth I just rubbed it on. Then I came in with some twine and I tied it around the bottom, and then working the twine up and around, I went around the outside of the lampshade several times, making sure to bring the twine back through so that I didn't have that extra piece of twine in the middle. I went around several times until I got the desired thickness that I wanted for my twine and tied it back off again at the bottom. Then I fanned out the twine and then I repeated this process intermittently around the lampshade.